Well, hey there, it's Jennie Wolek with Keller Realty in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thanks so much for coming back and watching another Agent Success Secrets. Now, today I am sharing an amazing Momentum member. She has been in my membership group since the day it started, and over 3 years ago, Donna. It's been so fun to watch you continually show up, but not just show up. It's the training room because anyone can do that, but actually implement. You get into action, and that's what we know is so important in our business. So just share with everyone who you are, where you are, and a little bit of your backstory. And then I want to dive into ask you some other kind of questions there.
Sure. Thank you again for having me. I'm Donna Gilbert, and I am in Stamford, Connecticut. I like to say Stamford and beyond. We are just outside of New York City. We're the Connecticut people. We're really New Yorkers keeping our stuff in Connecticut, New York City dwellers. I've been in the business for 22 years. I am a single agent. I don't say solo because I do have leverage, to help me in my business. And yeah, I'm living a great life with my sweetie, and we both have a passion in purebred dogs, and it's all good.
And that's what I really want to talk about, Donna, is yes, you have leverage because you're smart, and all smart people know that they can't do everything themselves. And you have a great business, and you've had growth over the years and being more purposeful. And share with us, your top referral sources, your top sources of business, because that's always important as people like to kind of gravitate towards, oh, well, I could never have that life or business because she does something that nobody else can do. But what do you really focus on?
Oh no, I focus on really the basics, my database,
Yeah.
people who know, like, and trust me, people who I've done business with before or know from some other part of our lives. Open houses is a big strategy because I do like to connect with people, and I think people see the value in that. And agent to agent referrals is actually where I've grown since we've got the whole pivot shift going and your class momentum and that sort of thing. Keller Williams lends itself to the agent to agent.
That's right. So really what I'm hearing is you focus on database and relationships,
Absolutely.
growing relationships. And I know that, what's important to you is that you not only help people buy and sell houses, but you also have a full life. And what's cool is that you get to live your passion and do this business. So just share a little bit about your
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
dog stories.
Yeah. So longer than real estate, which is 22 years, I've been in purebred dogs for 35 years now. It's hard to even imagine. And what that entails is me traveling around the United States to either show my dogs or to judge at dog shows. And with that comes belonging to all kinds of dog clubs and holding positions of authority. So just like with the Pivot Shift group and other groups that we're part of, I have friends everywhere. I have people who know, like, and trust me in every state and in several other countries. And it's not unusual for them to ask me, for help for their real estate needs. So I'm there because it is my passion and I'm doing something that brings me joy and I've dedicated my life to, and it allows me to continue doing business as well. It was actually one of my coaches that was talking to me because it was happening, but not in a purposeful
Yeah,
way, like you
right.
said. And my coach, she said, well, what can stop you from achieving your goals this week? And I said, well, we're going to be out of town for, 4 days. And she said, well, isn't part of your database there? And I'm like, yeah. And she said, well, why don't we make it purposeful? I mean, it was right in front of me and I didn't even see it. And you're right. In the last 4 or 5 years, I've truly embraced that. And it's been remarkable. I can do both at a high level. And, it's just rolling really well.
Well, and whether it's showing or judging dogs or any other passion that someone has, they can really connect the two, which is really, really exciting.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
And knowing that the connection is happening, the passion for the hobby, if you will, the passion for the dogs came first.
yeah.
And that's why I'm there. So then the business was allowed to flow naturally, authentically. So it isn't like put on. I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then there I can do business as well.
So, what would you say are some of your strengths, especially things over the years that you've improved on in your skills that have allowed you to be more efficient, to help that buyer or seller actually get to the finish line? What would you say are your talents with that?
I would say that one of my talents and what I have truly worked on to get it to a higher level is connecting with people, really diving deep into what their needs are. And I know that's something that's thrown around as though we all do it and it's easy. And yet, what I mean is I say very little about myself and my accomplishments. I mean, if I have an open house or if I'm sending stuff out to people, I include a resume. They can read it there. But I want them to feel that I truly know what I'm doing and I'm interested in helping them achieve their goals. I really want people to walk away and feel like, it seems like she really wants us to succeed. That is where I really tried to work on, not tried to, I am working on, digging truly deep into what they're looking for, what their expectations are. We have that phrase that I don't care for. The buyers are liars. I
Yeah.
don't believe it. I do not believe it. The fact is that we need to be better at uncovering what it is. When someone says, listen, I don't want a raised ranch, and then they end up buying a raised ranch, that means that
Yeah.
it was either the apple tree that they forgot to tell me they had to have an apple tree in the backyard, or I've looked at everything and, this makes more sense for my family. Something else changed. That's up to me to figure out and to find out. And the sooner I figure that out, the closer we get to their goals faster.
So you mentioned that how you find it out. Well, tell me a little bit about that pre appointment that allows you to figure some of this stuff out.
So I use one of the the techniques that's called the hello, old friend. And from the first moment that I meet someone, I am treating them as though we already are in relationship, if you will. And it's a positive relationship. And we're just catching up, we're just picking up the thread from where we last saw each other. And maybe that was 5 years ago. And I've missed you. And now look at you. You walked into my open house. Look at you. You picked up the phone. Look at you. You're in my office. What can I do for you? How can I help you? Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. So really knowing, first of all, really truly know your craft, know the inventory, know the marketplace, know all the things, be the expert that they're looking for, and then be the trusted advisor that can help guide them to make sure that they don't get lost in the weeds, that it won't end up being about you and what house you're going to sell to them. It's going to be them choosing and taking the steps forward and helping them look at, back to the buyers or liars, helping them look at, even though they said, I don't want a fill in the blank, I don't want to be across the street from a school, or whatever it is they say, as we're going through and the options that are the best for them, you present them again to them and say, now that we've looked at you, how do you feel about that raised ranch? And let them say, because you have earned the right to give them good advice. I think you really have to earn that right. You can't just start from the beginning with, this is how it's going to, but we want to do it, but you have to earn that by saying, I'm saying this to you to help you.
Yes.
Let's
And
walk together.
we just learned that from Phil at the certification, which was exactly that. And we've heard it before. And we're not allowed to give advice until we've asked so many questions to truly understand. And then we say, because you said this, this, and this, fill in the blank with advice. We
Right.
only can give the advice after we've done that. And you're so good at it, Donna. You make everybody feel like we're old friends.
That's the point. I decided a long time ago, and when I say long, I mean, maybe it was 10 years ago, maybe give or take, something like that. I decided that, enough of this trying to look like I'm the most professional person and all that, the facade, and just how would I want to be treated? How would I want someone to treat my sister if she walked into a situation? When I'm looking to refer agents, I'm deciding how that person is going to treat this precious jewel of a gift of a person to help. I want them to be cared for. I want them to be led. I want them also to hear the truth, even when it's the tough truth. So someone who can do that. So that's the person that I want to be. So I'm not just mollycoddling them. I'm not just, spoon feeding them all. There are times when I'm like, so here's the thing. I know you'd like to have fill in the blank, but unfortunately at this price point, we're not going to find that. So what we're going to need is to decide between either increasing the budget or you're willing to do some work. You do still have to be, and that's what a trusted advisor and an old friend is going to do for you.
And that word fiduciary, whenever we've been talking lately about buyer value proposition because of our new rules, we already should have been sharing and giving value, but now the word fiduciary is so important. So if you don't know what it means, go look it up. It's important to understand that you really care about their best interest first and foremost. Now, Donna, I know all this is working because you shared with me last year's numbers and this year's goals. You're on track. And when you complete that this year, that's about doubling your business in a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does
Yeah.
that?
So this is going to sound, I don't know, maybe too easy, but again, it's that decide thing. So at certain points in your career, and more than once, hopefully, if you stay in it long enough, look around, it's like, so this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Do I want to do it better? And I think your coach, I think Jordan has said to you, are you willing to do what I forget the wording he uses.
Feelings and your wants.
Are your willings right? Do they match your wants?
Yeah.
And that's part of the decide thing. Am I willing to do the work to make it better? Or is okay going to be fine? And not that it's like, is it okay? It's like, it's okay. This is good. But what if it was better? Dr. Benjamin Hardy with the whole 10x is easier than 2x. He's not kidding. I mean, there are times when you have to say, okay, so this is working and it's working really well. But for me to get to here, I have to almost push that all aside and decide it. But I'm starting from a higher place than where I started from the first time and then going to the next step.
Yeah.
And that is, it's a change in how you're going to show up every day. Are you willing to do that?
You are always showing up, which I love so much. And like I said, you've been in our Momentum membership group for over 3 years now. What would you say are some of the benefits that you've learned and or acquired in our time of hanging out together?
Well, first of all, Jennie, I met you. Oh gosh. I know that when you're talking about that time when you were on stage and you were kind of called out about your business, I was in that room. So I think that was 2015.
It was.
Um, right, it's 2015. And so following you and your systems and things, I look for people to learn from, to be in the room with, who do certain things at a different level than I do. All right. And I know that the way you manage your business with the systems and things is something that I fall short on. And here's the thing. And I know myself, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sit around by myself in a closed room. But if you're willing to share with me, I'm just going to take that. So that's what being in your program. It's filled in some of the missing pieces that you could give me the next 5 years, and it's just never going to happen unless someone just gives me their wonderful manual on how to do this, and then I'll run with it.
Yeah.
Community is so important, learning from agents. And I don't care if you've been in the business for forever or the ink is drying on your license. I know I can learn something from someone, even if it's not don't do it that way.
Yes.
That shortcuts it. And I think when you're a solo agent that shortcutting things are as important as putting more things onto your plate. So community and learning from people who have strengths where you may not have strengths is one of the reasons why I like to show up and like to be in your company and be in other, places where people are talking about things. So again, I can decide, is that something I'm going to add, or is that something I'm going to leave alone?
Yeah, that's right. It would be a lot to just implement everything at one time, but you've learned you have to take it off in little bite-sized pieces.
Mhm.
Donna, to kind of wrap up here, what advice would you give to new or maybe struggling agents who are just trying to figure this business out?
Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting business. But realizing that this is a career, it's not supposed to be an overnight success. You don't get your license, and at the end of your first year, you're like knocking it, out of the park. If that happens, you were lucky. And sometimes that can be more of a curse than a blessing. This is hard work. There are skills to learn. Go do it. Rely on people who can drag you along, kicking and screaming, and say, yeah, you need to go out and see houses, whether you have a clients with you or not. Learn the inventory. Do things to improve yourself. Don't give up. Know that it's a cyclical up and down, and I don't mean just through 1 year cycle. I mean over the decades.
Mm.
It'll be up and down, but it's a great business to be in. If you say that you want to be of service, this is a great business where you can do what you want to do, live your life, be of value, and you can, have a great life.
I don't think we can put a better bow on top of that. That was a great ending. But first, I do want you to share how everybody can find you, whether it's your email or online or phone number.
Yeah. So, as I said, I'm in Fairfield County, Connecticut. I concentrate on Fairfield County, Connecticut. Other parts of Connecticut, I'm happy to tell you who's a great referral source for.
Perfect.
I like my area. So you can always reach me at 203-253-5422. That's my cell phone. Texting is fine. Or Donna Gilbert at kw.com.
You're always such a joy. You're always a blessing. I'm just so honored to know you and grateful that I get to have you in my world. And thank you for all that you do for
Thank,
making our community a better place.
thank you. I love you madly. I
I
appreciate
love you.
it.
All right. I'll see you soon. Bye
All
now.
right.